Okay, we're all set, Arnie. Go ahead. I'm going to mute myself.
Okay, Joanne, thank you, and welcome everybody to the April 1st, 2026 meeting of the Danbury Planning Commission. We will open with the roll call. Mr. Kiokio,
Here.
Ms. Hostetter,
Here.
Mr. Nazario,
Here.
and Chairman Finalti is here. We do have a quorum. We will not seat any alternates. We don't have any alternates to seat at this time. Let me open the meeting by reading the standard Zoom intro. This meeting of the Danbury Planning Commission is being held on Zoom as a virtual meeting. Even though this meeting is a virtual meeting, members of the public and interested parties continue to have the opportunity to participate in the meeting in a couple of different ways. You can participate via Zoom and see the audio and the video, or you can call in by phone and participate via audio only. Please be aware that we may have to mute your microphone or telephone to avoid an echo or some other background noise. Instructions on how to participate in the meeting appear on the City of Danbury website, and all of the documents and materials that apply to the matters to be discussed during this meeting, including the agenda, are also available on the City of Danbury website. As always, if you have any questions regarding how to participate in the meeting, please contact the City of Danbury Planning and Zoning Department. As a reminder, the entire meeting will be posted on and can be seen on the City of Danbury website. We will follow the posted agenda as per standard practice. If prior to the meeting any questions or comments on agenda items were submitted via email to the Planning and Zoning Department, those comments will be read during the appropriate portion of the meeting. Finally, please remember that technology glitches sometimes do occur. Please be patient if that happens. Commission members, the minutes of the March 18th meeting were previously distributed. Unless there's any corrections or comments, I'll entertain a motion to accept those minutes.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to accept the minutes.
Thank you, Bob. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Helen. Second. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The minutes are accepted. Let the record show our next regular meeting is scheduled for April 15th, 2026. Please note your calendars accordingly. We have no new public hearings this evening, so we're going to go right to item 1 under our continuation of public hearings. Item 1, Danbury Mill Plain Realty LLC, application for special exception site plan approval for automobile service station, service garage, and convenience market, sections 3E2, 3E9, 5B, 2B1, and 9, with trip generation greater than 500 vehicle trips per day in the CA80 zone, 85 Mill Plain Road, D14013, special exception number 805. Some information regarding this application was distributed to the commission members. And at this time, I will ask anyone wishing to speak in favor of this application to speak now. Anyone in favor of this application? Does the applicant have anyone wishing to speak on their behalf?
First of all, Mr. Chairman, this is Larry Webster. I represent Benish, the engineering firm in this case. I just got a phone call from the attorney who's trying to get in and apparently is not being successful.
Here he is. I see him. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I would prefer that he start off.
Understood.
Oh.
We'll give him a minute.
There he is.
There he
Sorry.
is.
Sorry about that. The internet went out and I was scrambling. I was going to go on my cell phone. Cohen and Wolf, great email. My apologies. Sorry about that.
No problem. Again, if you just state your name and affiliation for the record, you can go straight into your presentation.
Sure. Attorney Josh Pedrera, Cohen and Wolf, on behalf of the applicant. Thank you. All right. So thank you, Chairman and Commission. My apologies again on the delay trying to get in here. So I know this is not our first time meeting. So I know we've gone at it a few times, but hopefully this time we have submitted revised plans. We have responded to most of the feedback, I believe, at this point. So hopefully we can have a pretty substantive conversation. With me tonight are the project engineers, Larry Webster, Connor McNamara, Ryan. Ryan, I apologize on the butchering of your name. If you're here, is Ryan going to be here, Larry?
He may be, but he will probably be joining us late.
All right, so I don't have to butcher his name. As well as Deborah Downey, who is the LEP on this project. Like I said, we've already made kind of a prior introduction on the project at earlier meetings, so I don't want to spend too much time reiterating those things previously mentioned. As you know, I think you all are pretty familiar with the site at this point. With that being said, I just wanted to address, any and all concerns regarding the project, including those pertaining to stormwater, traffic, environmentally sensitive concerns regarding the public watershed, some of the remediation that's been conducted on the property to date as well, and then just the extent of the work that's going to be conducted as it relates to the tanks and other upgrades, etc. And so hopefully the team can answer most of those questions. Like I indicated, we've received extensive feedback as well as additional comments from the various departments since our last meeting in February. Most of that has been addressed. We submitted revised site plans and architectural drawings, as well as revised stormwater management report, I believe back on March 19th, if I'm not mistaken. And then just to briefly revisit an overview of the project, just to give an introduction, and then I can let the team kind of take over from there. I think most of you know the site pretty well. Historically, the site is operated as a gas station that also involved auto repair and body shop work. The site's uses are pre-existing, non-conforming, but the applicant has agreed to essentially reduce that non-conformity. And so he's really going to eliminate those repair uses. He's simply going to operate it as a gas station for all intents and purposes, as well as a convenience store with accessory storage. The applicant's going to continue to operate 2 fueling dispensers in addition to the convenience store. He's also proposing to demolish the addition in the rear to structure the rear structure to accommodate traffic and additional parking. There's going to be significant improvements made to the property, including concrete driveway aprons, concrete curbing, sidewalks along the frontage, improved lighting, landscaping, among other substantial improvements. So we previously discussed upgrades involving the fueling facilities. They're going to install a new concrete island, a new canopy. There's going to be upgrades to the lines. I know that we did have some discussion at the last meeting when we did meet about the tanks. We can revisit that. There's not going to be complete replacement of the tanks, although their life use has not been reached yet. And I'm sure we can touch on that, and Larry can provide specific feedback to that. In addition to that, traffic reports have been submitted, illustrating that there's no real adverse impact to the traffic operations at or around the site, no significant increase to traffic volume. Stormwater management report was updated a couple of weeks ago. That was also submitted with the revised plans. I believe Connor will be able to address that more specifically, and he can address any feedback, any questions from the commission on that. And then finally, as I indicated previously, Deborah's present. She's responded to some of the comments and feedback. She did acknowledge that the site is within the public water supply watershed zone area. However, it is not located within the final aquifer protection area, nor does it qualify as an environmentally sensitive area, at least as defined in the regulations. So Deborah, I'm sure, can provide some insight on the environmental cleanup as well that has been ongoing for quite some time. She can answer any questions from the commission as well. That's really it. Like I said, I don't want to get into too much detail. This is, I think, our third time that I've essentially introduced the project. So with that being said, I'll turn it over to Larry to see if he wants to add anything in addition to that. If not, we can certainly take feedback, questions, inquiries from the commission.
Yeah, the only thing I'd like to mention at this point, there was an unresolved question concerning the underground tanks at the last
Just if
meeting.
you would, sir, again, before
I'm
you speak,
sorry.
just because we do transcribe these,
Right.
just your name and affiliation for the record, and then you
Right.
go right
Yeah,
in.
I did that before and I forgot to repeat. So Larry Webster with Benish, with the engineering firm representing the applicant.
Okay.
And there was a leftover question concerning the existing underground tanks at the last minute. The question was, why are you not replacing the existing underground tanks? You're upgrading everything else. You're digging it all up. And the simple answer is that the state of Connecticut has recently changed their regulations regarding underground tanks. And they had a maximum lifespan for underground tanks was 30 years previously. These tanks have about 9 years to go on that original 30-year lifespan. But subsequent to the revised regulations, they've recognized that these particular tanks, a double wall fiberglass tank, can last far longer than 30 years. They've attached some conditions that need to be completed before you can get the extended lifespan. But they are upgradable to the point where they can have a 45-year lifespan, which will kick them pretty far down the road. And if they run out of life at that point, I'm skeptical of whether they would be put back in. There probably wouldn't be enough gasoline sales traffic by that time to justify what it would actually cost to replace the tanks. They're getting very expensive, more expensive by the day. So that I hope will resolve that question. They have a reasonable expectation that they can get 19 more years out of them. So at least, he doesn't want to go the expense right now of updating them. If we can get this place open and operating, and he has to do it down the road, at least he'll have, so hopefully some return on his initial investment that he can reinvest in it at that point.
Thank you, Larry.
Yeah, Mr. Webster, just a quick question. I know there's several methods to test a tank, an underground tank, to make sure they're not leaking, a static test, whatever the case may be. So what happens after a certain number of years? You're required to have a series of tests done and prove that it's not leaking. Just walk me through that. And again, not extensively, just give me the overview.
Yeah, okay.
Can I-
Just
Can I
briefly,
comment?
Wait, don't-
let me go first, Sammy, okay?
Sure.
Okay, because I would have you jump in on some of this. But first of all, I want to explain that we're putting in basically testing equipment. So the level in the tank is continuously monitored during the operation. The piping is monitored for leakage, so continuously. And there's a sensor in the annular space between the two walls. This is basically a tank inside of a tank that detects any kind of leak from the inner tank into the outer tank. So that will be in place when we're done now. What would have to be added down the road is the capability to continuously monitor the outer shell of the tank also simultaneously at the same time. So it'd be a different system than the one that's there now. It would be a different sensor, a different technology. It may be able to be, some of this stuff is still in development, so I don't know all the details yet. Since they passed that, there's been a mad rush to develop these systems to retrofit tanks. And I know there's some coming down the line. And at this point, I would say if Sammy knows more about this than I do, I would defer to him.
Yeah. Hi, can you hear me?
Thank you. Can I comment?
Yeah, sure. Just state again your name and your affiliation and go right ahead.
Hi, my name is Sami Jamal. I'm the applicant, the owner of the property, and I have also my son Jay Jamal joined us. He's in also this. So we do have regard gas stations. We have a few sites in Denver already. We have this site in Main Street, 464 North Main Street that we built about 7 years ago, and we have 419 Main Street also in the mobile station in the corner. Regarding testing the tanks, we deal with a major company called Atlas Environmental. They are the biggest outfit. So basically, to the Connecticut state, there is mandatory inspections to be done every 6 months and every year. And we have monthly inspections done every month to the site. So in order for us to get our renewal gasoline license dealer, we have to have all the testing up to date. So, and in top of this, we're doing all the lines are going to be brand new. I'm going to have a Veeder-Root machine. A Veeder-Root is like a computer that says exactly how many gallons you have in the ground, how many gallons you receive in the delivery, how many gallons you sold. If you are missing something, that will, give you a red alarm. So the laws in Connecticut is very strict in how you're gonna extend the lifetime expectancy of the tanks not only the other 10 years, but it's like a test that have to be done every month, and tests have to be done a couple of times a year in order for it to be operating as a gas station.
Yeah, so
And
I'm sorry.
This is not our first rodeo. We have like 30 locations throughout the state of Connecticut, you know, and we've been waiting to upgrade and renovate and modernize this location for the past 3 years now, which has been like much longer than we expected, you know, to start the work there. Thank you.
No, thank you for that clarification. I thought it
Yeah.
was to get that on the record. It is an environmentally sensitive area, so thank you for that.
Yeah, I'm sorry. My name's Jay. Would you like me to explain how they are tested through the state?
While we're on it, if you could give us an overview, that would be
Yeah.
good. Again, it's now again, I don't see I see your name there. You have to state your full name and affiliation. That's just
Okay.
a few things here.
Yeah, hi. My name is Jay Jamal, Sammy's son, applicant's son, regarding this site. So regarding for the lines, what they do every 6 months and every year, it's a state regulated. They come out and do a line testing, a phase 1 test where they would pressurize all the lines going to the tanks, coming back from the tanks to make sure there's no leakage. So that there's nothing coming out. And, so they do the line test every single 6 months. They come out and do that manually, but through our Veeder-Root system, through the Veeder-Root system, every day at 2 a.m., it does it automatically. It does it by itself as well. And if anything happens, alarm pops up and the notification goes straight, to the supplier and to us, where we would have to come out and pressurize the lines and see what's going on. But even besides that, a company comes out once a month as well to check everything, the sub pumps, check every piece of equipment to make sure everything's up to state with the, Connecticut regulations.
That's great, and I thank you for that additional information. It's very reassuring to know that the testing is continuous. It's
Oh, yes.
Okay, good. I not to interrupt, Mr. Webster. I didn't know if you were done or not, but I wanted to get that question in while you were on that subject.
No, barring further questions, as far as I know, I'm all set. I responded to everything at the last meeting. We've responded to everything from engineering. We don't have a response to our response yet, but we addressed every question that they sent us, everything that planning sent us. And I think we have one, well, not my area, but everything that we were given from planning and engineering was addressed and sent back to them about 3 weeks ago.
Thank you. Attorney Pedrera? You're on mute.
My apologies. Yeah, just one thing to just build off of that. As far as I am aware, we have responded to everything. I did see some commentary today, construction commentary. I did speak with Larry about that. We didn't identify any issues with that. Attached to that, that was really just with respect to the concrete aprons, 5 feet wide, just with respect to the grade, as well as the crosswalk on Westwood. So again, I did speak to Larry about that. We did not see those comments. I think those came in about a week ago or so, if I'm not mistaken. But in any event, so we have, just to clarify for the record, we have addressed everything to date as far as we know. There were those lingering construction comments, which again should not present any issue. I don't see any issue with that. Neither does Larry, so we can accommodate that. It was pretty straightforward though.
Okay, I see you have some other people on. Let's say Mr. McNamara, Ms. Downey. Were you planning on having any of these other folks do a presentation?
Not specifically, no, just based upon our last conversation. I know that they were pointed concerns from an environmental perspective. So Deborah did respond to those, and so if there was any follow-up on that or clarification, she also has extensive involvement with the site cleanup, so she could opine on that as well if the commission wanted further details on that. And then Connor can also speak to stormwater. I'll let Larry also chime in on that.
Yeah, that's fine. Perhaps Ms. Downey could just, again, give us a flyover. I mean, I know I don't, we don't need a line by line recitation,
Sure.
but what the concerns were and how you addressed them.
Yes, my name's Deborah Downey. I'm with Haley and Aldrich. I'm a senior technical specialist and licensed environmental professional. So I've been involved in this site with regard to the investigation and remediation that needs to happen under the Connecticut Transfer Act. We have much work has already been done. I know you've seen some older reports, but there was actually a lot of work that was done that just was never written up. The site has been investigated and most of that work has been done. We have a little bit of data gap work to do, but we've been actually waiting for the final site plans because we want to be able to test areas where, for instance, where that building's coming down, the addition's coming down. We will also be installing some replacement monitoring wells for some of the older wells. And I was going to comment that those wells include wells that are down gradient of the tanks, and we have not seen an issue from the tanks. And we will be doing a minimum of 1 year of quarterly monitoring of those wells once we get to the point where we're done with the remediation. And in terms of the remediation, there's been a significant amount of excavation and soil removal there. Anything that remains is like at depth below the building. There's one, as I said, area kind of out in the back by the building they're taking down that we're going to do a couple additional tests just to confirm that that's clean. We will be reporting and submitting our reports to Connecticut Deep. And the goal will be to get the site verified and closed in the next couple of years.
Thank you for that. Let me just, before we leave that issue, any commission members have any questions on the environmental aspects of this particular application? Anything? Okay, good. Thank you, Ms. Downey.
Thank you.
Attorney Pedrera, anybody else? Mr. McNamara? Anything? Where'd he go?
Nothing from me.
Okay,
Mr. Webster,
yes.
Yes, thank you. Attorney Pedrera has not met him yet, but we have with us tonight Mohamedul Hassan, who is our traffic engineer. We were requested to have him present just to address whatever questions you might have concerning the traffic.
Yes, again, I would ask, and I know it was commented earlier that this particular application does not present traffic issues that, in the opinion of the applicant, are so serious, as to justify a traffic presentation. We did see the report, and we have our own traffic engineer's report. But Mr. Hassan, if you would indulge us, tell us what, and again, we all read that report, we read the conclusion, but just give us your opinion of the traffic impact or issues, if any, of this application.
Hello, can everyone hear me well?
Yes.
yes.
Okay, I'm Mahmoud Hassan. I am a licensed professional engineer working as a traffic engineer at Benish. So I have the chance to review the traffic impact study. So Stephen Ullman worked on this report, and I'm in the process of getting the responsibility from him. So I had the chance to review the report. Based on the report, what I am seeing that the current existing property has like two gasoline dispenser and one auto repair shop with 7,000 square feet. So the new proposed structure will have the same dispenser, like two dispensers with 4 fueling stations, and 2,218 convenience store. So it's a little bit smaller establishment. For this location, we did crash analysis. We collect crash data from July of 2022 to June of 2025, 3 years of crash data, and we found total 7 crashes. I reviewed those crashes, and it doesn't look like any kind of geometric improvement would help those safety issues. So it is not in terms of safety, I don't see any issue. And for the traffic, future traffic generation, we used those numbers for IT trip generation and get the numbers of around 49 for morning and 52 for afternoon traffic generation. But most of these numbers will be passed by trip. So pass by trip means like the trips will be happening even if the new proposed development will not be there. So like someone will make a stop at the gas station on their current trip. So according to IT standard, it is around 87% of the new generated trips would be pass by trip, but for CTDOT, we have a conservative estimate of 55%, and based on that, we also get the traffic movement data on in only one signalized intersection at the Mill Plain Road and Westwood Road. I believe the turning movement data was collected in September 2025. So we actually converted it to 2026 data by forecasting 1.5% traffic growth, and then also add the based on the IT trip generation, we added it and distributed it into the network. And what I saw for that signalized intersection at Mill Plain Road and Westwood Road, the level of service would be A, and there would be 2 existing driveway. So those 2 driveway will operate as D, which is within our, acceptable range. So in terms of safety and traffic efficiency, I don't see any issue for this proposed development.
Thank you. In your report, you never intended to study overall traffic of Mill Plain Road. You're studying specifically the impact of this particular use at that particular location, correct?
Yes.
So you didn't do traffic counts on Mill Plain or anything like that?
So again, Steve Ullman did that study. So for that study, I believe only traffic data was collected on that intersection, not for the whole corridor. That's a pretty, significant data we would need.
Okay. Commission members, anything for Mr. Hassan on traffic? Bob Chiocchio?
Yeah, I think this would be for traffic. So I'm wondering about the ingress and egress to the property. And I believe that the property, it's going to be a one-way circle around coming in. I think that's probably the east side. So east side entrance and around the building, and then coming out on the west side. And then the same thing, and I believe, and if you can refresh my memory here, going to the gas pumps, again, it's going to be one way going kind of from I'll call it the east side to the west side. So if you can confirm that, and then the ingress, will that be kind of a right turn only in on Mill Plain Road, or will there be cars traveling east on Mill Plain be able to make a left-hand turn in there? And then same thing on the egress. Can they? Is it going to be right turn only out of there, or can they make a left turn onto Mill Plain Road? And then can you also comment about queuing at the gas pumps, to the extent how many? What's the capacity there for queuing? We might have mentioned some of that, but I don't recall.
Okay, so I believe you're talking about the side drive. So there are two side drives in there.
Yes.
So would we allow left turn or only right turn there? So based on the traffic flow diagram I'm seeing, we would allow the left turn and the right turn both from that exit or entrance of this driveway. So yeah. And sorry, what was the other question?
Yeah, so left and right turns from both into and out of the property.
That's what I'm seeing. Yes.
Yeah, yep, okay. And then can you comment a little about queuing at the gas pumps, the capacity there?
I have to check and I can get back to you. I did not see that report yet, so I can check. But based on the level of service, it's within like a level of service D, so it would be acceptable within our range.
Okay.
So just to hold on one second, just to clarify, you said the level of service at the intersection of Westwood and Mill Plain was A.
Right.
But then you just mentioned level of service D. Which intersection has a level of service D?
The two drivers.
Oh, the two. Okay. The two driveways have their own separate level of service.
Right. Right.
And you will, because I think we have to keep the public hearing open. I'll confirm that at the end of this. But if you could just double check on the queuing at the pumps, as per Mr. Kiokio's question, maybe
Yeah.
next hearing we have to open it up again. We can. You can.
Sure.
Mr. Webster, did you have a comment?
Yeah, a little bit. At present, we expect bidirectional traffic at both driveways, but we are working with DOT, and that is not it's not outside the realm of possibility that they will restrict us on either of them for right out only or whatever. So we don't know yet for sure what they're going to have us do. But as so far, they have not restricted us other than this to say they wanted one driveway in and one driveway out. We probably have queuing for about 4 cars, I would guess. We also have fueling positions for 4 cars. At our expected level of trips, I just don't see that causing a backup. There's enough pumps to handle the expected volume of traffic expeditiously and not back up.
Mr. Jamal, I thought I saw you raise your hand. Did you want to comment on that?
I think, yes, thank you. I think Larry answered my answer.
Okay.
On my
Fair
behalf. Thank
Fair
you.
enough. Commission members, anything else on traffic at this point? Mr. Kiokio?
Yeah, I'm not sure if this is traffic generated or not, but I'll ask it now. So going around when the customers park in the rear, and then they have to walk and they're going to walk into the store. They have to walk. I believe there's going to be a sidewalk on the side of the building that they would walk, and then the entrance of the building is in the front. I'm just concerned a little bit about walking from the rear parking spots across the walkway there to get to that sidewalk, and I'd like to make sure that there's a painted crosswalk or some kind of to help with safety with the pedestrians there, with kind of cars coming around the corner if they're going a little bit fast and around that corner to maybe get to the side parks or to get out of the place. So I just want to make sure the pedestrians will be safe walking from those parking spots along that sidewalk and into the building. And I'm not sure how we can accommodate that, but at least have some discussion about that.
I would ask the applicant, are you aware of any signage or painting or crosswalks required at any point in your parking lot or no? I mean,
I believe we do have sidewalk in front of the store and sidewalk around the building.
okay.
That's how the plans call for.
Okay. Helen, please.
Mr. Chairman, might be, if we go over some of these points in this discussion again next time, I think it would be very helpful if we could get a screen up that everybody can see to just help us digest what it is that is going to happen, because I think it's helpful from the standpoint of looking at potential limitations and just how
Mm.
well
We,
it,
we can do that right now if you'd like.
well, okay, Mr. Chairman, I'll yield to you.
Well, yeah, well, we have a couple of, as Helen mentioned, we have a couple of open items, queuing at the pumps, signage, crosswalks, this type of thing. So seeing that we're going to leave the public hearing open, why don't we do two things at the next meeting? One, share a screen, and actually I've got the diagram in paper form here, but I just can't share my screen. So next meeting, we'll share the screen and we'll just address those issues very briefly, if that's
Right.
okay.
Thank you. That would be helpful.
So just for clarification purposes, so that I'm aware, when we're discussing crosswalks and the concerns, we're talking about in the rear of the parking lot from presumably where they're parking and then crossing back over to get to the building. I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
right?
yes.
Okay.
My concern is that I'm just concerned about pedestrian safety, just walking along the driveway. And I would like something so that they can be guided into the crosswalk area. Obviously, they have to cross the I'll call it the roadway or the driveway area, but I'd rather not them try not to be all over the place. And so if there's something, whether it's a painted crosswalk or something like that, that can be done just to help guide them and try to create a little less issues for the pedestrians crossing that way. And I understand that there is a I believe there's a sidewalk along the side of the building which they can walk
Yep.
on, and that's fine.
I see a hand up for Jay Jamal.
Yes, hi. So regarding the property, there is a signage on the front awning, like the front of it, but it's not a tall one, it's a short one. But there is no sidewalk in front of the building, just grass. Like I would say like 2 feet wide of grass and then the shoulder. So even the property next door to us, the tile center and so on all the way down Mill Plain Road, there is no public sidewalk.
Yeah, no, we're not looking for a public sidewalk along
Oh,
the
okay.
road.
There's one
I think-
across the street,
Yeah,
not on our side of the street.
yeah, no. I think what Mr. Kyokyo is referring to is if you look at the site diagram, again, I have it here. When you're sort of looping behind the building, it's a blind curve. You go behind the building, and his concern is somebody's going too fast. You go around the blind curve, and if the applicant's position is you don't need to put signage up or paint, then that's just tell us. But for example, we just approved a gas station convenience store over on Germantown Road, and they did do some fairly significant painting on the pavement in front, right directly in front of the building, which sort of signifies that you really safety or caution or whatever the case may be. So just at the next meeting, just let us know. And again, if you don't feel it's necessary, just tell us. That's all.
Yeah, when you mean like you talking about like behind the actual physical of the building
Yes.
itself?
Yes, behind it. So not on the part of the building
Yeah.
that faces Mill Plain, the back part where the parking
Yeah.
spaces are.
Okay.
Just
Okay, yeah.
let us know.
Okay, yeah, not a problem.
Very good. Commission members, anything else on traffic or?
Mr. Chairman, I'm a little bit confused now. So just going back to the crosswalk, there is going to be a new crosswalk in along Mill Plain in the front, correct? It looks like that on the drawing at least. And then there is going to be some kind of painted crosswalk across Westwood. Isn't that in the drawing or no? It sounded like he said that they weren't going to do anything like that, but
No,
I
again,
thought the plan showed that.
There's a crosswalk shown on Mill Plain here. I apologize. everybody.
Yeah, no, I have my plan up
Yeah.
on my computer here. So
Go ahead.
I thought I heard him say that they're not going to do that.
I think that was more as to existing conditions. You are correct in that the plans do call for that. That's correct. To eliminate any confusion. So there's the
Okay.
crosswalk across Westwood and then the improvements with the concrete walk across the frontage. That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
If I could just jump in for a second.
ahead.
Connor McNamara representing Benish. I could get a share screen up so you guys can all actually take a look at this.
Oh, good.
If that'll help make this a lot easier for everybody. So hopefully you guys can see this. You're talking about this area up here, right? Correct?
Okay.
There we go.
Can,
Can you guys see this screen? Or
Yes,
okay. But this is the area you're referring to, right behind the building, right next to the loading zone, correct?
yes.
Okay.
And then that little strip on the left side, as we're looking at the building, that's going to be a walkway, right? For the customers to walk
Yes.
towards the front?
That is correct.
Okay. Okay, and so what I would like to see is maybe some sort of kind of at least painted crosswalk from the edge of that walkway right there, kind of towards the back, or I'm not sure how it would have to be shaped, but just as a guide for at least to try to, not everybody's going to do it, but at least to try to make the customers walk, in a smaller area across that walkway to get to that side walkway.
Yes, that shouldn't be a problem. We already have the sidewalk in front of the building and side of the building. So in the back, we can just extend the painting to lead them to the sidewalk.
Yeah, I think
Yes.
that would be
Yes.
helpful. Thank you.
Yes, that will be done. Shouldn't have a problem.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that. And thank you for sharing that screen.
Yeah, no problem. I didn't want to cut you guys off, or I would have pulled it up earlier, but
No, a picture's worth 1,000 words, so that's good. We have to clear that up, so thank you. Commission members, before we leave traffic, was there anything else for anybody? No, that's good. Okay, well, Attorney Pedrera, we've heard from your whole team, I think. Unless you have anything else, I'll call the opposition, if any.
No, I think we touched on everything, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone else wishing to speak in favor of this application? Anyone else in favor? Is there anyone else wishing to speak in favor of this application?
Mr. Chairman?
Yeah, hold on, Paul. You can take down that shared screen, Connor. You could take that
Okay.
down. We're good.
sounds good.
Councilman Rotella. Rotella,
Thank
how you
you.
doing?
Yeah. Where's Hermione when we need her? Rotello. Okay, for the record, Paul Rotello, 13 Linden Place, Danbury. Also for the record, 6th Ward City Council. We are actually across the street, but we split Mill Plain, so it's going to have an effect on the 6th Ward. That's why I'm here. I appreciate the information on the tank. 30 years ago, I was looking at a building in the Hartford area. Had a big tank, 9,000 gallon heating oil tank. It's like diesel fuel or kerosene. I hired a company at my expense from Northern Connecticut. They'd been around since the Civil War doing a lot of defense work, and they tested that tank. It took 5 days. They injected a gas into it. They monitored the temperature. When it's cold, it's denser. When it's hot, it's lighter. They were pretty sophisticated. After 5 or 10 days, they told me there was no leaks. And I can't imagine that after 30 years, it's gotten worse. I'm guessing the technology has gotten even better. So I'm fairly confident about the procedures going forward. But as has been mentioned on multiple occasions, this is an extremely sensitive area. And I don't just mean there's water there. What I mean is there's water there that we drink. So this is a very important watershed for the city of Danbury. So we have to be extra careful about any tanks, any petroleum distillates, or anything that's being stored within that watershed. If we blow this, it means we can't develop, and that would mean that we wouldn't be able to build gas stations or anything else. So it's part and parcel health, safety, and welfare, but also commerce, tax base, grand list. There's a lot of moving parts of this. We really have to be careful, and I'm fairly confident that the Jamals are on top of this. So I'm here tonight not because of that. That's been essentially answered. I'm here for a very narrow, specific reason. It was my understanding, and again, this meeting has been going for a long time. I seem to remember back when maybe Neil Marcus was doing this, that he mentioned, or one of the engineers mentioned, that there was only going to be one lane between the island and the building. So if we're oriented coming in on the east, leaving on the west, east-west, this would be the northern section of the island, I'm guessing, although don't, hold me to that. But the area between the island and the building sounded as if it was only going to be 1 lane wide, which would mean that there's not enough room if a car pulls in for another car to go by. What that also means is that if you pull in and your tank is on the wrong side, and a lot of people blow this, a lot of people forget where their filler is on their tank, and the hose isn't long enough. I brought this up a couple of weeks ago at a different meeting. When I was a kid, every gas station had hoses that were like 40 miles long. It didn't make any difference where you pulled in. The guy was doing the filling, and he wasn't messing around. He would just grab the hose, and no matter where, if your thing was behind the license plate or on the roof of your car, it made no difference. The hose was long enough. But these days, hoses are pretty short. And if you've got an SUV like an Expedition or an Escalade and you blow it, you can't get the hose on the other side. Places like BJ's do have hoses that are long enough. And I would simply request that the Jamals, if this is the issue, if people cannot turn around and they screw this up, they're not going to be able to back up. They can't go forward. They have to wait. Can they at least assure us that they will put in hoses that are long enough so that no matter where the fill is on your vehicle, and no matter the size of your vehicle, you will be able to fill it regardless of what size that is on. So that's issue number 1. Issue number 2, obviously, is traffic. Always traffic on Mill Plain. We are considering putting in a firehouse. It's actually a little bit more than a consideration, but the plans have not been finalized. We're considering putting in a firehouse to service the west side of Danbury, in particular, a neighborhood near and dear to the chairman's heart, the Reserve. And it's going to be hard enough getting those tankers down to the Reserve between 6 and 9 in the morning and say 3 and 7 in the afternoon when there's heavy traffic on Mill Plain, that we don't need people struggling to get in and out of convenience stores. And I get it that the place has been there already, operating for 50 years. I've been there. I've rented vehicles there. I've gotten gas there and repairs. I get all of that. A lot of that stuff is scheduled. You don't usually just drop in to pick up an RV or a truck. You usually call ahead. Same thing with scheduled repairs. Convenience stores are a little bit different, hence their name, convenience impulse. People will be pulling in on a whim to get some donuts, to get some coffee, maybe to get a hot dog or a egg sandwich or a soda or water or something like that. You really can't depend on them. And the idea that they will let you know in advance and warn you that they've got to come in and pick up a couple of bags of ice for an impromptu school reunion party. So the idea that their basically traffic flows are going to be identical to what's happened in the past, I think may be in the aggregate probably fairly accurate. But when it comes to peaking, it's going to be a little bit different with a convenience store. I will defer to the Jamals. They're in this business, but we all shop at convenience stores, and we have a pretty good idea of people running in because the Powerball hit $1 billion and they're they got to get on the gravy train. So we just want to be careful, and we want to be assured that the left-hand turns, in particular, coming out of the not the service station, coming out of the filling station, are not going to be adding to backups on Mill Plain during periods of high capacity. So those two things, the really simple thing, a long enough hose, and the traffic, just to make sure. And I understand you're still waiting on DOT to give you the go-ahead as to whether you'll be doing, bi-directional or unidirectional. And I can wait until the next meeting. But man, I've been waiting for a really long time about the hoses. So if you could assure me about those hoses tonight, I would certainly appreciate that. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you to the Jamal family. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. I'm going to call the rest of the opposition. Then I'm going to pose 2 questions to the applicant. Is there anyone else wishing to speak in opposition to this application? Anyone else in opposition? Is there anyone wishing to speak in opposition to this application? Attorney Pedrera, Mr. Jamal, tell me about length of hoses. Or Mr. Webster, whoever your expert would be on that.
I can address that very easily. It would be to our advantage to include that in this situation. The cost is insignificant. I can categorically state that we'd be happy to do that.
All right.
Mr. Jamal, is that an issue at any of your gas stations, length of hoses? Do they all go to the other side of the car nowadays? I mean, tell me a little bit about that.
No, we don't have any issues, in some locations when we have like 2 pumps like this, we usually install long hoses, But this is the site, you know, we were planning to put more pumps, but I believe the town or the city, they tied up to the existing 2 pumps that there is now. And that's how it is, you know, we're doing all these improvements only for 2 pumps. I wish I can have 3 pumps there, you know, we'll have 6 cars filling at the same time. But we'll be glad to include the long hoses for those 2 pumps, you know. So this way, if somebody made a mistake, their tank is not the right, not the left, they still can pump it. Shouldn't be a problem. They don't have to drive around and try to get it to the tank.
Okay, thank you for that.
Thank you.
And in terms of room, if someone is pulled up to the pump to get gas, is there room to get by them to get out of there? If somebody pulls into the gas station by accident and goes, "Oh, I just want to leave," is there adequate room to get by them to exit, or would they have to wait for them to finish pumping gas?
Larry can comment on that. I
Yeah,
believe
they can pass on the street side of the fueling operation. There's plenty of room on that side for a car to pass by.
Okay. Thank you. All right, listen, Ally, I know there's some back and forth going on. Can you tell me where we are on this from the staff point of view?
Yes, staff received the revised plans and response letters on Monday, the March 23rd. So just about a week ago, we're in receipt of those revised plans and the response letters. Staff is currently reviewing. I know Rob Barone from Construction Services still had some outstanding comments related to that sidewalk and crosswalk along Mill Plain Road and Westwood Drive. My staff report, I'm still currently reviewing the response letter, as well as the engineering department is also reviewing their response letter. So we are not necessarily in a position to close this public hearing, just to allow staff adequate time to review the revised plans and response letters.
Okay, should we get some sort of commitment from Attorney Pedrera that you'll grant the extension necessary to continue this till our next meeting?
Yes, it would be a 14-day extension.
Okay,
Sure.
Thank you for that. Yeah, before I ask for a motion to continue, just a comment, you know, this application, for whatever reason, good or bad, has been around for a while. I think it
3
came.
years. It's really a hardship. It's been 3 years. We're trying to improve this building and bring something much nicer to the area. And we've been 3 years back and forth, which is, you know, it's really tough.
I understand your frustration, sir. And we try to move things along the best we can. So what I'm saying to my commission is this will show up on our agenda at our next meeting. I really don't, we've just asked the applicant about, 50 minutes of questions here. I don't want to retry the case at our next meeting. I don't want to repeat anything we've already talked about tonight. There's some clarification, a couple of other things, but please, let's try to get this in place so that we can close it at our next meeting. And again, not rehash items that we've already covered. So with that said, commission members, I'll entertain a motion to continue until our next meeting on April 15th.
Mr. Chairman, so moved.
Thank you, Helen. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Kiokio. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We will continue this until April 15th. Thank you, everyone, for your input. We appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, commission members, we're going to move ahead on our agenda. You will note there is nothing under old business. There is nothing under referrals, new business, correspondence, or other matters for discussion and possible action. A couple of things for reference only you could take a look at, but all floodplain permits. Ally, am I missing anything?
Nope.
Good, because if I am, I'm going to blame you. You know that, right? So anyway, okay, commission members, if there's nothing else, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Thanks, Bob. Second?
Mr. Chairman, I'll second that.
Mr. Nazario on a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? This meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night, and we'll see you on the 15th. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.